Hey everybody, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and today we're going to make a simple bracelet, I think, a simple macrame bracelet with the silver rat tail and some large hole fossil coral jasper. So I think it will be pretty. Will probably work for either a man or a woman because it is going to be both colors. I mean, it's going to be silver and gray as opposed to a bright, flashy color. So I think it'll work really nicely. Anyway, I hope it will. And we're going to see what we can do with this. Now, I will tell everybody I will not be live tomorrow. I'm hoping to get a recorded video done for, hi Donna, for tomorrow since I have my first post surgery appointment tomorrow morning at 9:30, and hopefully that will go all right. And then I'm supposed to start regular physical therapy for that. So we'll talk for a few moments. Hi Tina, and then I will see about getting turned down so we can start this bracelet. Like I say though, I will not be on live tomorrow due to the fact that I do have my post-surgery appointment, and hopefully that will go all right. They're supposed to pull the bandages off tomorrow, which is lovely because they itch and I'm getting really tired of them. So hopefully that will fix that problem. Anyway, so like I said, I'm going to try and get a recorded video done for tomorrow. I might try and see what I can come up with something from Softflex's Surfs Up for tomorrow. And actually, I'm thinking of earrings because I have these 4 wires from when I tried to make a ring with cabochons that just didn't work for me. So I have these nice square wires that have a little damage right here from working with them, which what I'm going to do then, because they have that damage, is I'm going to pound these out flat. So, and then we'll make some hoops with these, and hopefully I can I can happily find something I want to use with our Surfs Up kit. It does have gold components, so I think, and silver for that matter. So I'm thinking we can come up with something. Maybe we'll put the little beach balls in because they do have some little beach balls. Those would be fun. So anyway, we're going to work on a macrame bracelet today. Like I said, using the silver rat tail and some fossil coral, large hole fossil coral. And I think this will be a really nice bracelet. Like I said, it will work for either a man or a woman because of the colors that I'm making it. There's nothing flashy, so it'll be nice and neutral. So let's turn down and we will get started on it. And hopefully it will turn out as nicely as I hope it will. So let's get us turned down here. So I have my macrame board put out here, and the first thing we need to do is cut an 18-inch piece of cord for our base piece. Now, ordinarily, I'd get the ruler out, but our macrame board does have a grid down the side, which is 9 inches. So since we need 18 inches for our base piece, I will just pull it up twice and then cut this. Now, I didn't remember to grab a lighter, so I'm hoping that my thread burner will be enough to burn the ends of these cords so they don't become a problem here. So if I can find it easily here, it should be right here in my toolbox. But just because it should be doesn't mean it is, right? Isn't that the way it always is? Here we go. Come here, baby. So let's, zap the ends here. Ooh, that flamed up just a touch. No problem. There we go. So there is the ends of our base. Now we're going to get in here. And as you can see, aren't these beautiful little fossil corals here? And they are on a large string because they are a large hole. So we'll cut those loose and hopefully not send beads everywhere. So I'm just going to pull a few off here, and we'll put our first one onto here. And then we're going to tie an overhand knot right here to keep it from sliding off. We want it close to the end so that we don't have a lot of extra sitting down there. So we'll then slide our bead up here. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to go at my 3 here, which is our middle, and I'm going to put this string down underneath here a few inches and then pull down over this. Then I'm going to go down to the other side here on the 3 and put it into place to hold it. Now, I want to say recipe, but it's not a recipe. The instructions I've always used call for 48 inches of cord now to do our ties. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we'll cut her right here. Now, until we're going to do our ending piece, we don't need any more cord. So we're going to set that aside. And I got this cut a little bit wonky here. It doesn't really make much difference, but I'm going to trim it anyway before I burn it. And we are going to burn it because we don't want it to start unraveling as we're working here. So I was doing this once with a lighter and actually caught the end of my thread of my cord on fire. So got to be careful of that. This does melt, so it is handy that way because so you don't have to worry about it doing anything weird to you. So we'll melt this end here and go. So we can put this aside for a little while here now, because we aren't going to need it for quite some time. So now what we need to do is we need to take our cord and put under our base cord, and then we're going to even these 2 sides out. And then we're going to bring this one from the left over to the right, then take the one from the right, go under both these cords, the one coming through and our base cord. Come on, go through the base, under the base cord, and then come up from underneath this one and do our first tie. Now I'm going to compare the lengths and see that I still have them approximately the same length, because they're not too bad, because they will tend to try and come undone on you. So then we'll just go and make another turn of this. This now goes this direction, with this one coming over here and this one coming over the top of these, under these 2, and then bringing it up. So we have our first knot. Now I'm going to do about an inch of knots. Then I'm going to put the first bead on, do 1 or 2 knots, and keep going until I get it to about, well, let's see. I want a 7-inch bracelet. We have to do our tie thing at the bottom, so we want at least 1.5 inches for that. So we probably want it to get down to probably here, at least the 5. So what I'm going to do is we're going to do our macrame knots here. about an inch of them, and then we're going to just go in and out with the beads until we get the length we want. That will leave us an inch to do the other side here. So hey Charlie, hi Beth. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to bump my lights there. Come on, lift up, going. Looks like we're going to need about one more set to do our inch. Okay, there we go, about an inch of our macrame there. So we have a nice simple macrame here, about 1 inch worth. Now we're going to go down here, pull this off, and we're going to put our first bead on. Now, because of the way I'm doing this, we actually could put multiple beads on right now, and then you just only push up the one you want. So I'm going to put 3 or 4 beads on here because I know we're going to want at least that many. And I will just leave them way down here at the bottom until I actually need to put them on to push them up into place. By the way, we made the chakra bracelets on Friday. And Heather had asked me a question is, can you do multiples of your beads? And I said that you probably could, but you'd probably want to string the first set, then the second set, and so on. But I wasn't entirely sure. So I have my oldest sister taught yoga for a really long time. And so I inquired of her whether she thought that you could do that. And she said, yes, by all means, you can. Her only concern was that you would have to make sure that you had the same amount of beads of each of your colors. Say you were going to do 3 oranges. Well, then you needed the 3 reds, the 3 yellows, and you had to have all of those in the same, more or less the same position. So, so that was her only concern with doing multiple colors or multiple beads of the same color, was that you had to have the proper amount for your chakra. So so yes, that is a possibility. You can do that. Just make sure, like I said, that you you keep the same amount going. So we've done 2 more sets. So now I'm going to push my next bead up into place and do the next 2. I did consider using the light brown cord for this bracelet and these fossil coral, but then I decided that the silver matched the fossil coral just a little bit better, in my opinion. So we went with the silver. Which one did I just do? I'm not sure. I was not paying enough attention, so we're going to pull these out because I'm not sure where we just stopped at. Okay, it looked like the first. That was the first. Okay. So push this next one up. Hey, Gloria. Now we've got all 5 beads in, and we're at the 1, 2, 3, 4 mark. By the time we get our inch done, we're going to be about where we want to quit at, because then we're going to put we have to put our slider piece in the bottom of it. So this is actually going a little faster than I expected it to. Uh-oh, I think I did boo-boo right there because it's trying to twist. So let's see what we got going on. If you put all of your knots going the same direction instead of switching back and forth, you will get a twist in your piece. So just so you know. Okay, I think that's a full one there. So we go this direction, back over here. Now we're this one. Oh, Georgina, I hope she's all right. Now let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is 5. So this is about where it needs to stop at. And it's about 5 inches. And so what we need to do then is we need to cut these strings and burn them down. Sounds violent, doesn't it? So, oops, guess I need to cut them first. I don't want to cut them horribly close because I don't want them to just fall right out. But at the same time, they need to be close enough that when you burn them, they burn right into the cord. So, we're going to pull this off. For right now, anyway. You can see this is going to be the top of our bracelet. It's going to come around like this. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take and hold these two pieces side by side. So they're sitting like this. And I actually maybe should have made this other side a little bit longer, but that's all right. We're fine. And we're going to make a macrame bridge across here, probably maybe like 5 or 6 knots. And that is going to then make our slider for our bracelet. Hey, Nicole. Hi, Mary and Beth, and all you lovely ladies that have joined us. It's my knee is sort of driving me nuts, to be truthful with you. It has a nice numb spot on one side, which I have been told is pretty normal. And then it's been hurting the last few days. Not so much that, it's driving me absolutely nutsy, but it's hurting enough that it's not making me happy. Let's face it, though, no pain is going to make you happy, but I get my bandages off tomorrow, and I'm really thankful for that because adhesives tend to make me itch. And so I have been exceptionally itchy lately, and I'm not happy about that fact. Okay, now they say you need another 12 inches to do our knotting part here. So this is 6 going across, so I'm just going to get 6 off here, and I'm going to burn the end of this one so that it doesn't unravel here on my cord here. But yeah, so I have been very itchy and a not happy camper with it. And part of my problem is that itch, and then it gets stiff if I don't walk around with it quite a bit. So I tend to do that. My daughter was telling me that the other day that she has a lot of patients that have had knee replacements and they almost refuse to walk. And she says that's not good. They have to walk. If they don't walk, then they get all stiff. And I said, yeah, I can attest to that because I get stiff just if I just decide I don't want to do anything for a while. And then when I get back up to do something, come on, baby, come back on. Uh-oh, did my burner go out? There it goes. So that's not kosher, but we all know how that goes. So we'll do this end we're going to do exactly like we started on that end. Fold this in half and just macrame these two lines together right here. And when we get to the end, we'll burn it just like we did the end over here. And then we'll cut these lines about even and put another bead on the end over here for that. Where did I purchase this cord? At Michael's. Using Eslon, it's not very thick. That would be my only concern, that it's not very thick. So you wouldn't get a very thick bracelet. This is actually a lot thinner than my first one I ever did with the macrame pattern like this. And it's a nice one, but with let's see if I have, where's that bracelet? There it is. This one I used, come here. I knotted, I did the twisted knot for this particular one, and I used a hemp cord, but it's about the same width, as you can see, as a Celon or Eslon. So it would be thin like this if you were to use a Eslon for it. But can you? By all means, you can use any cord that will work for you. That's just an example, though, of how thin it would be. It won't be a big thick bracelet. It will be a thin bracelet if you use Eslon. Come on, snap closed. Got an Old Faithful on this bracelet, and for some reason it doesn't want to push together. There it goes. So anyway, that's that would be my only concern, is that it will be thinner. Yeah, exactly. It drives me freaking nuts. I cannot stop itching it. And my daughter's always saying, "No scratching, Mom, no scratching." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll just rub rather than scratch." And she says, "Well, that's not even the best. You should just pat it." I'm like, "Yeah, that works really well." you know. But, you do what you got to do. So what we're going to do with this bracelet is now we want to bring, like I said, we want to bring the two sides together like so. And we want to take this cord and go over both. And then we're going to try and make it sort of even here. It sounds like one of my kitties is getting sick. Oh, happy day. So then we'll do the regular macrame cording here. Pull that knot up, and then we're going to go back and forth until we get like 5 or 6 knots, or we're happy with the length of our bar here that's going to be holding our slider. Come on, baby, through. There we go. Now we didn't need a very long cord because we're not going to be doing a whole bunch here. I probably will try and do like, this is 2. I probably will try and do like, we'll see how many I can get out of this because it is a short piece. But in fact, the more I think about it, I think I was supposed to cut 2 feet and I only cut 1, but that's all right. We don't need a long piece. We just need enough to make like 3 or 4 knots here, just so we have something that will hold it, looks good, and we can make into a slider. think I went the wrong way. I think this was supposed to be the second part of this one, maybe. No? Yes, we came over from here, over to there, under there. So, yes. Yeah, that's better. So we only need like, I think I'm only going to put maybe one more here. What cord am I using? I am using some 1.5 millimeter rat tail cord that I got at Michael's. When I purchased this silver gray color, I also got two other colors, a pale blue and a brown. Let's see. Here is the brown and the pale blue. So those are the two colors that I got. And also I got from Auntie's Beads the other day, and I haven't used it yet, but it's the same size. As you can see, it's about the same size. This is a turquoise. They just call it satin cord, 2 millimeter satin cord. But this would also work really nicely in this. This is by Beadsmith, not it. So, thank you. Oh, no problem, ladies. I don't mind you being late. Everybody gets late sometimes. I was late yesterday when I was, who was I watching yesterday that I came in really late on? Maybe it wasn't yesterday. Maybe it was day before. Late Night with Becky, I think. No, Sisters with Becky Foster. And I came in really late to her show, and I just messed that up, but that's all right. I can just fix that right there. Nope, through here. Through here. There we go. Now I think that's the last knot I'm going to put on. I think that will be all right. I could put one more if I felt like it. Well, let's see if I have enough cord. I'm not sure I do because I've got this little one is pretty darn tiny. So we'll see if we can get it to give us one more out of here. But I'm not sure it's going to. Yeah, it's not going to, so I'm not going to worry about it. It doesn't need to be. What we're going to do now is we're going to cut those cord ends down and melt them just like we did the other side. And then we're going to even these two edges up between the two, and we're going to knot a bead onto this other side. So let's get these cut, and we will cut these and burn them down so they melt them into the cord below it. And be aware that this cord is a melting sort of cottony polyester stuff, and it will, when you squish it down like that to make sure it's in place, you can burn yourself. I just did a little bit, not too bad, but a little bit. See, it stuck to me right there. And that is one problem with polyester. Any of the polyester cordage is it will stick to you. So something to think about. So we're going to just pull this up tight. See how short it is now. And then we have to get a bead on here. And then we're going to want to get it, move it to about where we want it at, and then get our overhand knot in here, please. It's about good. Am I wanting it to be perfect? Not really, it doesn't matter. Now, before I cut this off, I'm going to make sure that when I pull this all the way to the beads, I can still get it on my hand. And yes, I can see easily. So then we're going to pull this back up some. It's a nice little slider knot there. And then we're going to cut this one down. And if you think you would have needed a little bit more, and I cut that a lot more than this side, so we'll cut this side down some more too, and then burn the ends here. So there we go. Simple little macrame bracelet using the rat tail and some fossil coral beads. And it's a nice little macrame bracelet. I'm going to tuck this end here underneath one of the other strands so that it doesn't unravel on me that way. Now, if you want to, you could put a little glue in a few spots. I would mainly right at the knots. I don't think it's needed because we did burn the ends. But it will come in on and off relatively simply with the slider bead right there. And because this is sort of a satiny cord, it even slides pretty easily. So, and then you just take hold of one side and pull her up. So there's what she looks like. Let's get my chakra bracelet sort of out of the way. So pretty simple. Well, you know, Mary, that's why there were a few times there I pulled it back apart. And that's one lovely thing about it. It is relatively easy to pull apart if you need to. The knots out until you burn them, and so they're pretty well set in stone. Then they aren't going anywhere once they're burnt into place like that. Like I said, you can put a touch of glue here if you're a little worried about the knots not sticking good with the burnt, which some of these burn really well and others don't. So if you want to do that, if you want to do it on this one, be very careful though, because you don't want to get it so that it will get down and not allow your knot to turn. So you'd want it right here at the very edge right here. And again, right here. And you got to make sure you don't get glue anywhere but on the outer piece, because if you get it in the inside, it'll glue it to the base piece here, and you won't be able to do your piece there. Now right here it doesn't matter so much because this is your ends and you don't want this wiggling around anyway. So now I'm gonna wiggle this, make sure I didn't get this glue onto my base piece, which doesn't appear that I did, so that's good. And this can go for a very small arm. As you can see, when we pull it up, it goes really tiny. See how it is on its tiniest spot. It's about, it's about 5.5 inches. Well, no, it's more like 5 3/4, but still pretty tiny. And then, of course, you can pull it up till as far as you need to. It goes all the way past 9 inches, but you've got to remember, if you put it past 9 inches, you got to be able to get it on your arm. It still is at 9 inches and still has about an inch worth of working. So you could, it could go to a relatively good sized arm from a tiny arm. So, and you can always put more knots in either side if you've got enough line to do it. And I only put 5 beads in with 2 knots in between each bead. When I was going to do the chakra bracelet like this, I was only going to put 1 knot between each bead because we would have had 7 stones in there. But yeah, there's our macrame bracelet. So very pretty. I think it turned out really nicely. And like I said, the silver cord is a little flashy, but it's not so flashy that I think a man would not wear it. And the fossil coral is a good neutral stone. So how much would I charge for this bracelet? Now there's a good question. I hadn't priced out these beads, so I think I have some other large hole fossil coral over behind me though. So let's see if I do and what the price is on them. Okay, where'd I put them? Oh, there they are. Now I think are they the same size? Pretty close, probably. Yeah, so I'm just going to dump these into here. These are 1/4 a piece. So of course you need large hole, and in they go. So they're 1/4 a piece for the fossil coral. We've got 7 on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's not quite $2, but pretty close. Then the rat tail. Oh, do I have my Michaels receipt here somewhere? I can't remember how much I paid for it right off the top of my head. But I'm pretty sure, well, let's see, how many yardage is on here? There's 10 yards on here, and it says 5 yards on this one. And this one cost me, I think it was $5.99 for those spools. So if this is 10 yards at $5.99 for this spool, so 5.99 divided by 10, and then I'm going to divide that 10 by 3 because it's per inch is what we're going to do this as. So that's about 20 cents an inch. We used 1 foot, we used 5. This was 4 for this piece. This was another foot for this piece. So that's 5. And this was, so it's 6.5 feet. So that was just 20 cents a foot, right? 6.5 times 0.2 plus the beads are 1/4 a piece. 150. Nope. 175. So $3.05 approximately to make it, if I figured my cord price out properly. And how long have we been at it? Almost an hour. So times 2 plus 20 for my time. So that's 26. So about 26 probably. Though if I did it my lazy way, it would only be about 15. So so anywhere between $15 and $26. I It would probably depend on my mood at the time what I decided to do. Or I could average it out. Which would be $13.50. So, no, that can't be right. 26 plus 15 divided by 2. That's better. It'd be $20, 20.50. So I would go to probably just make it 20 or 21. So did I see the listed coin beads? I did, and I almost bought some, but I'm trying to keep myself from buying things because I'm not able to do any shows right now since my knee is not going to allow me to. My doctor is going to, he said if everything went well, he'd release me to go back to doing shows at the end of July, which is good because I have my Fairy Festival at the end of July, but I'm not able to until then. So, it is what it is. So there is our bracelet. It's pretty darn simple, pretty darn neutral colored. I think it turned out nice. So I'm pleased with it anyway. So like I said, it can go to a tiny little wrist up to a relatively good sized one, just because we have this slider cord here in the middle, and you can pull it up tight, or you can bring her really loose. And of course you need to have enough space to get it over your hand. So there we go. Thank you. So anyway, as I was saying at the beginning of the show, I will not have a live tomorrow because I have my first doctor's appointment after my post-surgery doctor's appointment. And I'm supposed to get this itchy bandage off, and hopefully I won't have to have a new bandage on, but we'll see tomorrow what they decide. I know it's still swelling up sometimes. It still gets a warm spot in it. It's not hot though, so I did have my daughter check it a few times, so I'm not worried about that, but I do have those issues. But yeah, I did see them, and I love coin beads, and I really, really considered them, but then I told myself I didn't really need them that much. I have tons of beads, and quite frankly, then Saturday I was sorting through bead boxes, and I ended up with another like 8 or 9 boxes of gemstones, 12 grid boxes of gemstones. So I'm like, yeah, see, you need more beads, like you need a hole in your head, but I know you want them. Always do. But that's the way it goes. Let's turn up. Whenever I see that, you say that, I think of turnips, like the vegetable, and I'm like, let's turn up, huh? But anyway, so there we go. There's our little bracelet all finished. I think I'm going to try and record something for tomorrow since I won't be live, and I can hopefully get something for us for there. I'm probably yeah, exactly. Is there such a thing as too many beads when it comes right down to brass tacks, Gloria? I don't think so. Anyway, I'm thinking I will try and come up with something to use my Softlex design kit Surfs Up for our for a video for tomorrow. They have these tiny little beach balls in here, and I was thinking of maybe making some earrings with those. And some of my wire here that, like I said, I had these pieces cut, and I was experimenting on trying to do a cabochon ring, and it just didn't work for me. It was just fighting me right and left. So I'm going to take some of these wires, but they do have some damage from being worked with, so I think I'm going to flatten it. If we're going to have damage, might as well give it some more, right? Purposefully. And so we haven't quite hit the hour yet. We only got about 10 minutes though. So that is what I'm going to do for tomorrow. Wednesday, we'll see what I decide if I'm going to record. I'll probably do a live again because let's face it, I find it a little easier to just do a live than try to record something and then have to edit it and post it and all that other wonderful fun stuff. And we'll see how my leg goes Tuesday or tomorrow to see what exactly I decide to do as far as the rest of the week is concerned. But I will let you all know one way or the other what we're going to do. Some of those coin beads were sure pretty too, weren't they, Gloria? I still could get in. You never can tell if they've got any that I really like left, but I don't know. I haven't really looked. I did look for a little bit and then I went, stop, just turn it off, Rose. You're going to buy something if you leave it on. So I did turn it off. But so anyway, that's where we're sitting at the moment. We're going to, I do have my, like I said, I do have my post-surgery doctor's appointment, the first one tomorrow. You missed a lot of the coin beads, but did manage to get a few, Charlie. That's good. And like I said, I had some in my shopping cart. I did start to go for it, and then I made myself not. Thank you, Cynthia. I appreciate that. You'll let me know how they look. Thank you, Gloria. So I did have a few strands in my cart, and then I didn't follow through with purchasing them. I easily could have. I didn't. I still have one of the shows I normally do to pay for, so I've been like, I gotta save the money for that show entry fee. And I'm really cut back on my shows this year with my knee surgery, but we'll see how that goes, how if I continue on or not. But I also need to do something with my Beadbox Bargains, this new set. Though I really didn't do all that much with the last few sets. I have done something with all of them yet so far, except for my new one, but I haven't really done much. So we'll see what I go for. Thank you, ladies. Anyway, we're gonna cut off just a few moments early here, which is not a normal thing for me, as you all know, but we are. Thank you, Charlie. I appreciate it. Thank you, Nicole. And I hope you enjoyed making this little bracelet with me. It's not a hard thing to do as long as you just follow your knot pattern. And like I said, if you keep all your knots going the same way, then you get that little twisted pattern in the one with the thinner cord that I used a hemp cord with, which was this little guy. And as you can see, it's pretty thin, but see the twists and those fun? And that's what happens when you put your cord, just keep your cord all laying down the same way when you pull it through. So it's a fun little knot. Let's see if I can get it to focus a little better there. There you go. So it's pretty easy, and it's fun. And as you can see, I put multiple beads in my sections here that I put beaded sections. So pretty easy thing to do. Like I said, it's mainly just putting those knots in place, and they're not that hard. You just have to pay a little bit of attention to which way you're going. If you want the twist, you need to always go the same way. If you don't want the twist, you need to do one opposite to the other. Yeah, the twists are fun, aren't they? I like the twists too. So anyway, I'm going to leave for the day, and I'll probably record something a little bit later so that I have something for you guys for tomorrow, since I won't be here. And first time out of my house since I got home from my surgery. It'll be interesting. See how my walker does outside of the house. I need to move anyway. The knee stiffens up. So you have to do some more practicing, Nicole. Yeah, it's not a hard knot to do. It's pretty simple. And it makes some really pretty things. Like I said, if you keep it going the same direction instead of changing from one side to the other, you get those twists. And so that's how you do the twist. And I believe I did record that, making that bracelet. If you want to go back and see it, I'm fairly positive I did do a recording of doing that one. I think it might have even been for a week before last, when I was off after my surgery, when I didn't come in at all. I just had recorded videos for you all. You'd have to check, but it wasn't that long ago. So anyway, I'm going to sign off now, and we'll see you later. Like I said, I will let you know how my appointment goes, either in a short live or a post, or just on Wednesday. So we'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.